Okay, so today I thought I'd do something different and do an action figure review on the 2003 Pokemon action figures. So these figures were really rare and I couldn't find a review of them on YouTube, so I thought I'd make one myself. So this isn't the complete collection, but this is what I have so far. So first let's start out with Ash. So here is Ash. Oh, he has head articulation, can probably go full 360. His arms can go full 360 too. But unfortunately his legs are stuck in this pose. And in terms of scale, I think all these figures were made to scale with him. So in the show, this is about the scale of Sceptile to Ash. Oh, yeah. Speaking of Sceptile, let's see what Sceptile can do. So Sceptile has like a gimmick. So his gimmick is the leaf blade attack. It's basically when you move the tail down, his arms will spin. But the leg kind of gets in the way. So it does a full 360 turn. And the legs can move forward this much. Maybe further. Yeah, the legs can do a full 360 turn. So yep, there's Sceptile. And I think the printing is here. You can see Nintendo. Try and focus. Nintendo, Hasbro, 2003. So these figures were really rare because I can't find a lot of videos or any videos of them on YouTube, so I thought I'd make my own. Okay, next let's look at the figures that don't have any articulation, just to get them out of the way. So first up is Corefish. He's a pretty good scale with Ash. But yet no articulation, but a good amount of paint apps. Little bit messy, but I guess that's because of the size. So there's Corefish. And I also had this tiny Zigzagoon. I don't know if he was part of this line because he doesn't have any printing on him. So he might have been part of a different line. But there is tiny Zigzagoon. And there's also Medicham. I believe Medicham came in a 2-pack with Makuhita. You can see here, I think it says 2005. So this figure is from the 10th anniversary set of figures. There is how they scale with each other. Okay, next I think we'll take a look at these two figures. I have two Armaldos. So they both have a little bit of paint damage and wear. Let's see if I can focus. Yeah, mostly some stressing under the claws for the gimmick. These guys don't have any articulation either. Yeah, the tail doesn't move. So their gimmick is with these two things at the back. You move them and the claws move. So let me show you from the front. So I think the box called it like a Fury Cutter attack. So there is our Maldo. Next up is the Viper. So here is the Viper. Also has pretty much no articulation, just one or three solid pieces. So the gimmick is you move the tail. You move the tail and the head kind of bobs out. So maybe like a headbutt attack, or you could do the opposite and move the head and have the tail move out. To do like a poison tail attack, I guess. Okay, so now let's look at Alakazam. Here is Alakazam. He also has pretty much no articulation. The head can't move, but he can turn at the waist. So you can kind of look side to side. And his gimmick is you pull down on this and he raises his arms a little bit. Guess this would be a psychic attack. But if you want, you can raise one arm till it ratchets, and you can kind of have it raise up a little bit higher if you want. But yeah, there is Alakazam. Okay, so now the figures are getting a little bit bigger, so I moved the camera up. Let's look at Metagross, or Metagross. Here he is. So it has a gap here for, it came with like a disc, and once you put it in, this part would come out and you push it and it would come flying out to do like a hyper beam attack. So Metagross has 4 legs all on ball joints, so you can do a full 360. You can move it up and down, in and out a little bit. So yeah, there is Metagross. Next, let's look at Swampert. Here is Swampert. His mouth open. You can move his legs. They're pretty stiff. If you want, you can have him stand on 2 feet. But with the way his arms are positioned, I think it's best to have him on all 4s. Like that. And his gimmick is you move his arms down and his mouth opens more, which is kind of weird. Maybe for a bite attack or hydro pump. Don't really know. Also, his head can come off. So it's just connected by this little peg. So there is Swampert. Okay, so now let's look at our second last one. Here we have Agron. His legs can move, but they're also really stiff, and they move from like the center of his leg instead of the top, so it kind of looks a little bit weird. His arms can move up and down too. Also pretty stiff. This one isn't that bad. You do a full 360, but it's kind of blocked by the leg. You can kind of push it through. The head doesn't move, but the waist can turn because of the gimmick. So his gimmick, so you can move the tail like that, but his gimmick is you move the tail and it turns his torso. So I guess this could be maybe a Metal Claw or a Mega Punch attack. Like that. Okay. There we go. There is Agron. And finally, we have Rayquaza or Rayquaza, however you say it. I think it's Rayquaza. Pretty long. And his tail has like a bendy wire, so you can move it and it'll somewhat keep the shape. But he can't stand, on his tail. You can try and coil it, but it probably won't be able to keep its shape. So here is his face. Not bad. He kind of gave him two little rabbit teeth. They're really close together. They're pretty much two paint blobs, but it still looks pretty cool. His arms can do a full 360 turn, and his gimmick is you turn this, his entire lower body, and then see his arm here is out more than the other one, so it's actually a button, and when you click it, oops, he does like a turning twister attack. He just knocked over everybody. Let's see if I can get his whole body in frame. So there is Rayquaza. Okay, so now I thought I'd do another size comparison between some other figures. Here is a Lego figure compared to all the others. And here is a larger Lego figure. Here's Thanos compared to everybody. And finally, here is a Masters of the Universe He-Man Mega Construx figure. I think that scales pretty well with them. Well, not Ash. And here is the Wicked Cool Toys Tauros. You can see the scale doesn't really work with this guy. He is just too big. Okay, so here is a final shot of everybody. See how they all scale together. I do have the 10th anniversary Salamence on the way. So if you guys like this video, then I'll make another video on the Salamence. But I think next I'll be doing a stop motion with these Pokemon figures and maybe the Masters of the Universe Mega Constructs figures. Alright, thanks for watching. If you want to see more, you can like and subscribe. See you later.